They're supposed to be
Buzzwole, though.
Yeah.
How sick is Buzzwole?
Dude, did you see the anime where he sucks
Guzzlord?
the life out of fucking Snorlax?
No, I haven't. That sounds
It's
terrifying.
really
sounds
fun.
violent.
Dude, I gotta show you. It's so
I gotta-
unreal.
This feels like the true new era of Pokemon.
Yes.
One that we've never turned back from, really.
Yes.
If anything, Gen 5 was like the epilogue to everything that came before.
I would even say that there's another cut after this. It was Gen 1, 2, Gen 3 through 5.
Yep.
And then 6, and then we'll talk about
72 new species of Pokemon. Not very many. I remember this first being like, oh, that's not that many. And that's kind of another trend that has carried forward, which makes sense because there's a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I like that, like, for quality over quantity.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
True. Fair.
But I don't know that we really got too much quality either. Set in the Kalos region, which is based on France.
Yep.
Interesting. I hate it. New gameplay features include the introduction of fairy-type Pokemon. That's one positive I could say.
Sure.
Fairy-type is...
It's a great type. I don't even know all the matchups for
Fairy?
Fairy. Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Okay.
You want to know?
Yes.
Poison.
It's good against Fairy.
Poison. Yeah.
Yes.
And Steel.
And Steel. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so weird to me. These are weird types.
And
I get it though.
Fairy fucks up Dragon.
Yes.
Fucks up Fighting.
Yes.
Fucks up Dark.
Okay.
Maybe some other ones, but those are the three big ones. The Dragon is the huge one.
That's when we were playing that Showdown tournament. I was like, I feel like I'm not completely
I
where I
don't
need
quite
to be
understand
here.
these fairies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mega evolutions. This is another thing. And I feel like they never did mega evolutions again after this generation.
Yeah.
But there's kind of been a souped up Pokemon thing in every game afterwards.
Right.
So this is kind of a new trend that they started. Mega evolutions, when they came out, I remember really disliking them at the time.
Okay.
In hindsight, I actually like a lot of I actually think the Mega Evolutions designs are overall better than the actual 72 new species we got.
Right.
Outside of Greninja and Sylveon,
Okay.
I don't really give a shit about any of these other Pokemon. But the Mega Evolutions, Mega Medicham is awesome.
Yeah.
Altaria. Some of these might not have been introduced until Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Right.
Which we're going to get into. Mega Swampert, fucking beast.
Yeah.
Charizard X and Y. Yeah, I actually really like the Mega Evolutions now. From a gameplay point of view, I don't know that it really did anything for me.
Right.
I think it was kind of just, I don't know.
I really like Megas.
Yeah. You like the designs, you like the gameplay.
I like the whole idea. The fact that there are these Pokemon that can take new forms, like these established Pokemon that we love, that get kind of like a new version, cool as shit. But then you add in that, like, this is like your trump card, like this one thing that you get to use on your team to take this Pokemon you like to the next level and make it a goddamn monster.
Yeah.
Like a complete beast.
Yeah.
That's sick as hell.
Kind of like how you feel about Rhyperior.
Yeah.
That's kind of fundamentally
How you
how I
feel.
felt about all the Megas.
Right.
They were all Rhyperiors to me.
Right.
I actually really like Rhyperior. I like him like...
I don't hate him that bad. I think Rhydon's superior to Rhyperior.
He's perfect. Well, superior is Rhyperior.
Yeah. But he's not a bad design.
No.
But he's like smaller than Rhydon. He like shrinks to become Rhyperior.
It's weird. Rhyperior is weird. Yeah.
They're like this difference. Like it's like Rhyhorn, Rhyperior, Rhydon. Like it's really weird.
Well, I feel like, going back to the previous generation, like Electivire, Magmortar.
Yeah.
They feel like almost they should have just been Mega Evolutions. They look like Mega Evolutions. Rhyperior kind of looks like...
And maybe that's kind of what...
Maybe that's kind of what they were thinking.
Honestly, like, our last ranking episode was off here, right? That was wiped.
Lost to the Dark Timeline.
Yeah, exactly. Lost to the Dark Timeline. I feel like during that episode, and luckily no one gets to see it, I was hard on a lot of games. And looking back now, I'm just like, I don't know if I was just in a negative spot.
Yeah.
But like this gen, I'm like, I like this gen. Even though there's a lot I don't like about it. Like the Pokemon, I'm just used to them now that I like one, Greninja. The anime did a lot for Greninja.
Greninja's awesome.
That guy did those battles of Ash and the Elite Four, that Ash Greninja versus Mega Sceptile. Man, that's a sick
Greninja
scene.
wins?
I don't want to spoil anything.
Okay, all
but
right.
then he also fights Charizard too. But man, the battles with Ash Greninja at the end of Kalos were incredible Pokemon.
That's cool.
for the anime. But even the Pokemon like Pangoro is one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and he's in this. He pretty much replaced.
Gen 6?
He's Gen 6.
Yeah, fuck.
Like I had a Greninja and I used him on my team and stuff, but this was the first Pokemon game where
Legendaries are cool.
they are.
Xerneas, Yveltal's cool.
Yeah. But this is the first Pokemon game where, like, early on, because I think he's like rare or something on one of the early routes.
Yeah.
But I got a Pancham immediately.
Yeah.
And this was the first time in a game where,
Seems like an Alex Pokemon.
like a Pokemon,
Is he normal and dark?
he's Pancham is fighting, and then he turns into Fighting Dark.
Oh, fighting dark.
This is the first Pokemon game where Pokemon has, like, felt like my Pokemon partner through the game, like,
Yeah.
been my main Pokemon
Yeah.
that wasn't a starter.
Yeah.
Which has never happened to me prior. Starter's always like the badass sitting there being like, "You got."
I think
I've got this.
that was my problem. I didn't like any of the starters from this
But
game.
you
like
got
Greninja,
like
stage.
Froakie and Chespin. And
Froakie. I can't believe you turn into something as cool as Greninja.
I love Froakie.
Yeah,
he looked like
I
he
think
reminded me
he's
of
just-
Kuropi, and I
looks
was like,
like a
man,
dweeb.
what a sick, what a sick little guy. But you also got a Kanto starter pretty quick too.
Yeah. I don't. This is the thing. Like, so we should mention for sure. This is the first game with fully rendered 3D polygonal graphics.
That was weird. That was a weird adjustment.
So
feel.
I remember being really hyped for this game for that reason, and then playing it, and I liked the way it looked.
Yeah.
But something just felt
Off.
It just felt weird to me. It felt like a half step. Yeah, they added the 3D graphics, but they didn't really change anything else.
Right.
No rotating camera. Gen 7 suffers with this too, but I think they did it better because I really like Gen 7. But I don't know. Maybe it's just the time I was playing it. I remember when it came out in 2013, that was a turbulent time. Like, that fall was like not a great time for me emotionally. I remember going through some shit. So that's the thing. I always have to look back at like what was I going
Yes.
through at that time. But I think it just felt ultimately kind of disappointing for me because I was excited for it on my 3DS, which was new to me at that point in time. And I remember really being like liking it for the first like 10 hours maybe. But then after that, I was like, there's really not that. I don't feel like there's not that much here really. It's like it felt like a nice coat of paint.
Right.
But I just didn't feel a lot of substance. Also, like the storyline is just entirely stupid to me. Like Buddy's looking for his, Buddy's looking for his little floette or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, like it's just it was such a weird. The story just fell flat. It's so weird to me.
I'll have you know. Also, I bred a team this gen.
Did you?
I have a full.
I
team.
remember you guys being like
Yeah.
pretty into like. This is the time where I think they cut the. Was the shiny rate in half? Because it was 1 in 8, and then they went to 1 in 4.
Yeah, but Friend Safaris.
Yeah, Friend Safaris
were
and stuff too.
crazy.
Yeah. Shiny. This is the first generation. I remember like shiny hunting was like a thing.
Jeremy, I have a not a box because I stopped, but I got like 6 shinies in a couple days
Yeah.
just from Friend Safaris and stuff. Going on GameFAQs, going on there, giving my code, getting other people's codes, looking for the best one. I got like shiny Dragonair.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of shiny Ninetales. Honestly,
cool.
it almost diminished the value of shinies at that point. I kind of was like,
That's another
shinies
thing.
don't matter anymore.
That's because I was known in the previous generations of having really good luck finding a lot of shinies.
Yeah.
Just purely based on the fact that I played it for 800 hours.
My one shiny I got prior to this gen where it became easy was the shiny Audino.
My first shiny was shiny Machoke.
Nice.
Enhanced remakes, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, were released on November 21st, 2014 worldwide.
These were weird games for me.
I feel exactly the same way I feel about X and Y as these games.
I almost feel worse about those games.
I do feel worse, actually.
Yeah.
I actually like them even less because at the time I still had internal misgivings about Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah.
Like, I like Ruby and Sapphire a lot now.
Me too.
Like we've said.
Yeah.
But at this time, like fucking almost 10 years ago at this point, I was not quite ready for more of that.
Yeah.
And yeah, basically everything I disliked from X and Y, they just applied to Ruby Sapphire. And I don't know, man.
Yeah, it was weird for me too.
I remember it was a chore to beat these games.
Yeah.
I remember I forced myself to beat X and Y, and then I really forced myself to just go through and beat it, so I could say I beat every Pokemon game essentially.
X and Y wasn't a chore for me, but Alpha Ruby, or I mean, was it Alpha Ruby? Yeah, Alpha Ruby.
Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Omega Ruby.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a struggle for me. And that's funny because I love Trico. He's one of my favorite Pokemon. I love Sceptile, Mega Sceptile.
I love Kyogre
badass,
and Groudon and Primal.
but I struggled.
Primal Kyogre is like really cool. You know, even Team Magma and Aqua, like there's a lot of good things that we probably didn't talk about when we talked about just the regular Ruby and Sapphire that I like. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I just didn't quite get it.
Yeah.
Get it right for me.
I like X and Y better than Omega and Alpha, but
I do too.
it is what it is.
But like slightly. You
I
know?
like the Gen though. Looking back, I do like Gen 6. I feel like before I was kind of weird about it. I do like Gen 6. I think Megas are great. I do actually like the Pokedex now. I didn't at the time. I do really like the Pokemon. I feel like that's the problem with getting old though.
Yeah.
When you get hindsight and perspective and
Yeah.
you get used to things, it's like, no, it's actually kind of
You
good.
can rationalize anything.
And honestly, I hated it. I've never hated a Pokemon generation.
Yeah.
But have been uncomfortable with some designs and stuff.
Yeah.
And looking back, I'm like, no, it's good.
I will stop short of saying I hate it, but you can probably guess where I rank this generation. We'll get into that soon. So it sold over 14 million copies. Fourth best selling video game on 3DS.
Right.
Not bad. These things always sell. That's
Always
kind of the
sell.
problem at this point.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Okay, Gen 7. Now I know we both like this generation.
I love Gen 7.
This might be the last positive generation we have, like just purely positive from both of us.
I would say Gen 7 was like a renaissance for Pokemon games. I feel like they actually took it and like learned from the little mistakes they've been building up, they're doing up to now, and like completely turned it around.
Came out November 18th, 2016, worldwide to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the series.
Nice.
You said Renaissance. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You know? And some of the post-game stuff definitely goes into that as well.
Right.
81 new species of Pokemon, so slightly more than the previous game. But I like most of these designs.
I love this
That's
dex,
the thing.
man.
That's
I
the
love
thing.
this
I
dex.
love this dex. I think this is the strongest dex since... Fuck.
4? 5,
strongest.
5.
I think it's the strongest dex since. Fuck, man. Gen 2.
Yeah, maybe.
Almost. Like,
it's a good
I
dex. You're not
Because
wrong.
there's a
man.
lot of weird shit even from Ruby Sapphire. I think I'm like, just like, I'm not trying to throw shade at Loudred and Whismer and those guys.
Sure.
But like fucking stupid Gulpin,
Yeah, I agree.
Swalot,
Yeah.
weirdos like that. I like Diamond and Pearl so much, but like Magmortar,
True.
what the fuck, man?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Black and White, a lot of Vanillux, a lot of shit I don't like. But there's nothing that I stick out as like overly offensive from the generation. Like I think of Lycanroc, I think of Golisopod, I think of all the Alolan forms.
Yeah.
The starters themselves.
Oh man, Litten and Rowlet are two of my favorites. Pokemon in general.
Decidueye is great.
Sick.
You know, he made me switch to grass.
Yeah.
You know, I'm typically water type. You know, Cyndaquil was the only other time I didn't pick water. Yeah. So it's set in the Alola region, which is based on Hawaii.
Yeah.
So another kind of North American.
Yes.
Yeah, but island. New gameplay features included. Regional variants, so we already mentioned Alolan forms. This is huge,
Yeah.
and this is another theme that has continued. There's been regional variants every time since, and I think that's going to continue because it makes sense. People just want new shiny versions of the ones they already
And
love.
just to say, my favorite regional form, I'd say probably Vulpix and Ninetales.
I was going to say Alolan Ninetales, Alolan Sandslash.
Cool.
Basically, both those ice types are fantastic.
They are. Ice Fairy, man.
Yeah.
What a cool Pokemon.
So good.
So good.
Yeah, no, really, really good.
Actually, that's how I went in every Pokemon game. I look for the one Pokemon that's going to be wanted like competitively or just like for a unique build.
Toxapex.
And yeah, Toxapex
We
was
showed
sick.
up Toxapex. He's still fantastic.
He's such a good Pokemon.
Water poison is dangerous.
I remember I actually found him in there too. I had to do the weird thing where you chain whatever it is he kills. Corsola.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
chain Corsola to get to Toxapex. They did it and eventually found him. But in this, I hunted for this like snow warning or whatever Vulpix.
Oh yeah.
Up on the mountaintop, and then I went online and listed them, and then I got like all the legendaries, all the beasts, everything online way in advance, not from from random people.
Yeah. Lycanroc day or night? Which one do you prefer?
I mean, I would go day, but dusk form is incredible.
It's cool that there's an option, but
Yeah.
I still like the day one more.
Yeah,
He
I
looks
like
like a
that too.
traditional fucking wolf, man.
Reminds me of my dog.
Reminds me of your dog too, yeah. Mia.
Such a good dex, though.
It's good, yeah. Well, yeah, the decks, man. We could just talk about the decks. So some other additions though. Z moves, don't care.
Oh, I like Z moves too.
I don't really
I'm a big
remember.
fan
I don't
of
know if I
Z
ever
moves.
used a Z move, to be honest. I
Really?
might have used it one time.
Oh, they're beautiful.
I always feel like with modern Pokemon games, especially, I'm always struggling to make the game as hard as possible, which
Right.
is not really easy to do.
Yeah.
They're just getting easier and easier. So I probably didn't use Z moves just because it was like overpowered, and I also didn't understand it and didn't care to learn. Apparently.
It's just like one superpower move you get to use
Yeah.
for battle.
Yeah.
Super cool.
This would kind of be like. This would be like the mega.
Yeah.
I guess of this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But more low key. Ultra Beasts. What do you think about Ultra Beasts?
So
They're growing on me.
It's weird because it's like I feel like you're not supposed to jive with them because they're like aliens.
Yeah.
They're weird. But they're supposed to be
Buzzwole,
weird.
though.
Yeah.
How sick is Buzzwole?
Dude, did you see the anime where he sucks
Guzzlord?
the life out of fucking Snorlax?
No, I haven't. That sounds
It's
terrifying.
really
sounds
fun.
violent.
Dude, I gotta show you. It's so
I gotta-
unreal.
I have to see this shit.
So I will say I wasn't a fan, but looking back again, I'm like, the whole idea of how do you spell it?
Buzzwole. B-U-Z and then swole.
Yeah, look.
Snorlax just deflates. That's fucked up, man.
Dude, it's so messed
How
up.
could you do that to Snorlax?
I don't know.
But Buzzwole's a sick Pokemon. Fighting and bug.
yeah.
It's
It
crazy.
is really cool.
Yeah.
Honestly, I do like, again, like, it's like, I don't think you could do wrong in that game, man. Sun and Moon, like, what solid games. And the actual story was actually even cool here, too.
This is probably one of the best stories, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think since the first gens, this is the strongest story.
Yep.
Yeah, Gen 1 and 2, this is absolutely the strongest story. Yeah, so they updated the battle mechanics. Nothing really too notable that I can think of, but improved 3D graphics.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a step up from X and Y.
100%.
There's no rotating camera, which I think people were upset with, but I feel like the way the world was structured, it felt like there was still more like, there was more depth and height to the world. I think of like the mountain area. Like it felt, yeah, X and Y was 3D, but it still felt flat. This thing felt like it felt like a real world.
I'm going to say this is, in my opinion, the peak of modern Pokemon.
Yeah, no, I
feel
agree.
like we've actually gone downhill since this game.
I 100% agree, Alex. So the gym challenge, the island challenge.
Yeah.
This game is notable for being the only game, actually, still, that switched up the gym formula.
Yeah.
So there was 4 gyms, essentially, the island challenge. So there was less, it was less about going from badge to badge,
Yeah.
which I think it worked. It let the rest of the story breathe.
True.
The Ultra Beast storyline. Oh, Team
That
Yell
was
was
it.
Gen 8. Yeah, Team Skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they weren't really the bad
Yeah,
guys.
they weren't really the bad guys. It was the people getting the Ultra Beast.
It was the good guys
Yeah.
who were the bad guys.
That's again
That's one of the best stories.
Exactly. Yeah, we got there, Alex. We got this. Also, another huge thing that I think they should have done a long time ago: place HMs with ride Pokemon.
Yes.
This is a positive change that they've carried forward.
True.
Because that's probably the number one thing I'll say bad about the classic era, which I would say Gen 5, basically up to 3DS.
Right.
You always had to have 1 or 2 Pokemon in your party, fucking HM slaves.
Right.
And it sucked that you had to make those you had to like devalue your team's battling capability just so you could get places, or
True.
you'd have to go to the box and trade it and then fly your one and then switch it back. It was just annoying. It just sucked. I like this because you don't have to think about it anymore.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's another positive, very positive change. Sold 16 million copies, and it's the third best-selling video game on Nintendo 3DS. Now, enhanced versions, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, were released on November 17th, 2017. I never played these either.
I haven't either. I own Ultra Sun.
Yeah.
But,
From what I've heard, is that these games didn't really need to exist.
I wanted stars. I feel like a lot of people wanted stars.
Stars?
Pokemon stars.
Oh, Pokemon Stars.
Instead of two.
Sun, Moon, and Stars. Yeah. Yeah, and I think
Because that was a rumor. There was a rumor regarding it. I thought it was supposed to be Switch. That was the rumors that it was
I
actually...
remember you talking about it.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I think Ultra Sun, like after Black and White 2, it seems like, oh, maybe that's just that. But no, these are essentially an enhanced remake, more of a throwback to like Platinum.
Yeah.
But instead of making it one, there's like, no, now there's also two versions of this.
Yeah, I didn't
this
like that.
more than any other enhanced remake or third version felt like just a cash grab.
That's what honestly,
Yeah.
it was. To this day, I'm like, if you had just made Pokemon Stars on Switch,
I don't think anyone wanted this.
there was another games in Gen 7 too, wasn't there?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. Thank you, Alex, for reminding me. Oh, hold on.
Yep.
I actually do have some details about these games that I haven't played. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
Okay.
Contains a modified storyline featuring the Ultra Retcon Squad. What the fuck is that?
I have no idea.
And Team Rainbow Rocket. That's
Rainbow
cool.
Rocket, yeah.
Rainbow Rocket's cool. Brought back Giovanni.
Yeah. Well, they're like an interdimensional team,
Interdimensional, team.
That's sick.
And there's new Ultra Beasts and some new Pokemon forms as well.
Nice.
I can't say which ones though. No idea. But yeah, what you were talking about, Alex, the next game in Generation 7 were also the first games released on Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And these are remakes of Pokemon Yellow. So again, this is the second remake now, in addition to all the other Kanto. Okay, just one sec.
Yeah.
Red, green, blue,
Yeah.
yellow, gold, silver, crystal,
Yeah.
fire red, leaf green,
Mm-hmm.
and now Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee.
Yes.
So what? That's like 10 games that Kanto is. You could go to Kanto in.
Yeah.
So they did it again. They did it again.
They did it again.
New gameplay features: connectivity with Pokemon Go.
Yep.
You could link it up. Motion controlled catching mechanic.
Yep.
Cooperative multiplayer. And wild Pokemon that appear on the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this game was definitely inspired by Pokemon Go.
Yep.
The success of Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go came out around the summer before Sun and Moon. So that kind of goes back to what you're saying about it feeling like the Renaissance.
Yeah. New era.
That summer of Pokemon Go, everyone who was there remembers.
Yeah.
It felt like how we felt in '98 when we were kids.
It did. It really did.
And Sun and Moon lined up with that. And then Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee is inspired by that as well. I liked the new catching mechanics. Like I liked the change it. Like I thought it was fine for one game.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want that in every game necessarily, but I like not having to battle them.
My only complaint about this game is not being able to use a controller, like the Pro controller, when you're playing on the TV.
Yeah,
My only complaint. I actually really like this game.
I agree, Alex. What you said about that. Yeah, I chose after the first few hours of being frustrated. I chose to play it exclusively in handheld.
Yeah, it was very
For that
frustrating.
reason. Yeah.
Even now.
Yep.
Because my girls started files with this, and they hate going back too. Because
You did do a stream at one time.
Oh, I streamed.
and
I
I
streamed
watched.
the whole game.
Yeah, you
I
did.
caught every Pokemon.
You did. You actually did it.
Yeah.
man.
The only ones I'm missing are the exclusives, the version exclusives.
Oh man, Dark Timeline got that one too. I think
Yeah.
or something.
No, I have all that footage saved.
Oh, good. You do.
Yep,
We should re-release it.
I made all the video. I saved it all.
Yeah.
Haven't done anything with it yet, but it's
Oh,
there.
sick, man.
So
Fuck yeah. Well, we might have to do a montage of every
yeah,
catch.
yeah.
Give it to me, Alex. I'll do it. No, you give me the footage. I'll cut every catch.
Damn.
Into like a 10-minute thing.
Okay. Well,
I'll try.
yeah, I did it.
Maybe you can give me timestamps.
I honestly,
No, that'd be fun.
great games, honestly. And the highlight, the best part of the Let's Go games is the soundtrack. I love
Yeah.
what they did with the
Yeah.
music.
The new arrangements
Yep.
on the
They're
classics.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
The way this game looks looks clean.
Yeah.
It's 3D, but it's still old school.
It's jolly.
It's just so
It's jolly
jolly,
time.
man. So nostalgic. I really, really, I was feeling very hopeful for the Pokemon series at this point.
Yep.
And my anticipation of what Sword and Shield could be was like very high.
Yeah.
After this, and this was the first Pokemon game, main series Pokemon game that was released on a home console.
Yeah.
Switch is a
True.
hybrid, but still.
True.
We mentioned it's not very fun to play it in the home console way.
Yeah.
Preferred to play it handheld for sure, but still. 10th best-selling video game on Nintendo Switch.
Impressive.
Apparently. At least as of a month or two ago when I wrote this.
Wow.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, great game. I gotta say, I wouldn't say I'm surprised, but I was surprised at a certain point that they never did another one of these.
Yeah.
There was rumors about a
Let's Go Johto. Or
Let's Go
something.
Johto type thing, and I was thinking, what could that be? Like, oh, you could do want to do Let's Go Togepi and Meryl or something,
True.
something like that, or Pichu. Let's
Yeah.
go Pichu and Togepi or something like that.
Yes, true. That's probably who it would be, honestly.
I'm surprised those rumors never came to be. I don't know if they're ever going to get another game like this, but I wouldn't rule it out either.
I wouldn't roll that.
I feel like we're getting to now, this is the third layer of remakes. I feel like maybe in a few years they do just do a Let's Go Johto thing.
Yeah.
It's fucking printing money, man.
Yep.
Okay, let's get it. So this is the last generation we're going to talk about. Gen 8. And I think
I have mixed feelings.
I also do. There was a lot of promise.
Yes.
And I feel like ultimately I was disappointed, but I don't feel negative. I don't feel as negative as I do about X and Y.
I don't feel as negative as I used to feel about certain things
Yeah.
here, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, okay.
Oh, the little imp guy.
What were the starters?
It was Scorbunny,
Scorbunny.
Sobble, and Grookey.
Sobble, I love Inteleon.
See,
I like Inteleon a lot.
this is really weird for me because
You don't
this
like
was
him.
the first gen where I'm like, I do not have a starter. None of these starters click with me.
Yeah.
But I will say this about this gen before we get too into it. I was not a fan of this gen, but recently my girls have been getting into Pokemon. I've watched pretty much all of Pokemon Adventures, like the Sword and Shield anime. That's the kind of the last hurrah of Ash.
Yeah.
We've actually been watching it for a year now, all the way up through.
Nice.
It's actually fantastic. It's actually really good.
Okay.
And so I feel like between my girls playing and them loving, my daughter Liv loves Sobble and my daughter Abby loves Scorbunny and stuff.
Cute.
And I'm seeing my kids love this generation. It actually got me more.
Okay, no, that
generation.
makes a lot of sense.
But the anime is actually really good too. So it's actually, and Sun and Moon had a really good anime too. So the anime has just been fantastic as well in the last couple of gens. So that's helped me get back into it as well.
Yeah, and kind of like the Pokemon cards for Gen 5.
Exactly.
That makes me like Gen 5 more than I actually would without that experience.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, I just had to spend thousands of dollars on a piece of paper to enjoy something. Dynamaxing, Gigantamaxing. This is
cool.
a thing.
It's okay.
Again, kind of another mega things, and I think they maybe should have just kept doing megas. Maybe
I actually like
I can't
Mega
believe I'm saying
and
that.
Z moves better than Dyna,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that's me.
There's an open world section known as the Wild Area.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably one of my problems with the game. Similar to X and Y, felt like, it was the first 3D game, X and Y was, but I feel they were kind of faking it. It wasn't really any different. This, they got an open world area. But outside of that, it's essentially just Sun and Moon on better hardware. You know? I felt like it feels like a half set. I feel like, I don't know. They weren't ready. But then they released Gen 9 and they still weren't fucking ready. You know? So I don't know.
Dude, it honestly feels like after Gen 7, maybe the budget went down or something. I don't know if there's
Why would the budget go? I hear you, but
I don't know.
making more money than you ever have.
Maybe it's because they
the budget.
transitioned from 2D with 3D assets in it to full 3D. And so creating all these assets is taking so much of the budget.
Yeah.
Because it feels like this was the beginning of kind of a downgrade in quality.
Mm-hmm.
This was still a good game.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can briefly talk about the future of Pokemon after this, but I think this sacrifices were made for the open area and the full 3D
Yeah.
in quality, in my opinion.
No, I agree. Yeah. And Yeah, sacrifices were made, and I guess that's why I'm left feeling like it wasn't. Yeah, it feels like a half. It ends up making me feel like they didn't put in. Yeah, it feels like half effort. You know, it feels like halfway there. It's not good enough.
It's to say the Dex was good.
Yep.
The storyline was actually okay. And then the characters I actually really like. The gym leaders are cool.
Yeah.
There were some memorable places like that forest with the mushrooms with the fairies.
I like Team Yell. They're so stupid.
The mine with like all the little cool crystals, like it looks like Christmas lights almost. Like there's some really memorable parts of this game. So it is a good game. I don't want to detract from that.
Yeah,
but
it's not bad.
It does feel like the wild area was the beginning of something that went to Gen 9.
Mm-hmm. Arceus, which we'll see
in
later.
Arceus, and it's I don't know how to word this, but it feels like it's taking away from Pokemon.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting too far away from what Pokemon is.
I feel like the things I liked about this game were the traditional Pokemon stuff.
Exactly.
All the new shit I didn't like.
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, please do the new shit, but do it well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So this is a positive for me. I never actually played these, but 2 downloadable content expansion packs were released for the game. The Isle of Armor and the Crown Tundra.
So, I didn't download them, but my girls did, and I beat them for them just recently in the last last month.
God, fucking father of the year, man.
So, I will say they are actually cool. You get Cub Fu or whatever the little guy is, and you train him up, and then you have to battle the tower, and you get to choose like which one he evolves into.
We like fighting type Pokemon.
We do like fighting
established,
and I love him. I love bear Pokemon too, so I love this. And then the ice one is actually even cooler because you work with Calyrex, who's this like weird grass psychic rabbit king guy.
Yeah.
And you work with him to like regain his steed to kind of get his powers back and stuff. It's really cool. I actually really like the DLC.
They looked promising. I was planning on playing them, and I just never got around to it. But the positive thing for me is the fact that instead of releasing a whole new game, they just did a DLC. And that seems like they're going to continue to do that. I think they've already announced there's going to be DLC for Scarlet and Violet. So that's good. Like the one bad thing about Gen 7, I say Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon could have been an expansion. Although on 3DS, that's not necessarily the same thing.
True. But if they made stars, they could have.
Exactly. Yeah. So this feels like a positive change. Don't make people spend an $80 on a what is fundamentally a $30 new experience, right?
Yeah. And honestly, they were pretty fun. I'll tell you one of the best things in one of them, you get to go into a cave, talk to somebody, and she will lend you a Pokemon, and then you go through with 3 like AI, switching your team as you go through, and you defeat Pokemon. You can take the one you beat to get to like a legendary, and then when you beat the legendary, you catch it and you get to keep it.
Okay, cool.
So it's like rentals. It's like rental battles almost.
I might still have to play these. You know,
it's actually pretty good. I have to actually get them on my game because I want to get through them too.
How long?
I mean, it's
like
not
10, 20 hours. 10
hours? Probably something like that.
Yeah, 10 is like probably what I could see me just being like, yeah, I could play 10 hours of this game.
And again, combined with the anime, I actually do like this gen. Okay. Overall, good gen.
Yeah.
Up to this point, and that's the thing. I look back and I'm like, up to Gen 8, I really don't have many complaints.
The enhanced remakes, Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, were released on November 19th, 2021. Now, this is where we're going to have some opinions, because this is possibly why I don't like Gen 8.
Yeah.
Because I actually love these games. I love Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
Yeah.
I can't say that I don't know that I like them more than Sun and Moon.
Right.
But it's equaled. It's like close. And this is kind of my hang up for this whole generation.
Right.
Makes me like it less overall. Because the response that this game got, people really hated it. It was announced, no one was excited for it. Yeah, so I've just always been like very stubborn in my love for, and I really do. And then the games release, I played through them. Fuck, man, I put like 100 hours in this game. I did everything. I did the entire Sinnoh Underground. I got every single. You can get every legendary up to, like, you can get basically every legendary for the first 4 generations in this game. Huge side quest post game.
I don't know what's wrong.
I did everything. The underground, you have to like search for stones.
Yeah.
To find like these rare stones, and if you get enough of them, you can go catch the legendaries. I did all of that.
Dude, I played this game and I don't know where I am. I feel like I just got lost. I feel like I'm still lost. I feel like that's the thing. It's like when you play Pokemon, okay, when you play the older Pokemon games,
Yeah.
every map feels very like obvious.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like you go to Palatown, you go to Route 1, you go to Viridian, like it's all very contained and straightforward and linear. And this game should be. But for some reason, I have no idea what's going on. I feel like maybe the day I played it, I wasn't paying attention and just clicking or something. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why I'm going. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Where's the gym? Like, I feel lost.
Diamond and Pearl was like that too.
Was it?
There's well, I mean, it's
been a long time since I
it's the
played it. I
same
don't know.
map essentially, right?
Yeah.
And it's all kind of you can go a lot of different routes. There's not necessarily one way to do it. You can get different gyms in different orders and stuff too.
What?
Yeah. It is kind of an interesting show. I understand what you say, but again, I'm super biased for this because I love Diamond and Pearl more, the originals more than like a lot of people do. But Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. Also, this was like middle pandemic, so I actually had the time to like really sink into this. Maybe like actually late pandemic. So I had a lot of time, but it was everything I wanted. It's it's like
little chibi guys.
Yeah, so like the Link's Awakening remake on Switch.
Yeah.
This is this for me.
Right.
Same thing.
Right.
It's exactly like the old game. It has a nice coat of paint, but essentially it's a top-down RPG.
I gotta replay it. I gotta get through it and beat it.
And you know what? It didn't get great reviews. No one really. It still sold a fucking 14 million copies. Is the 11th best-selling game on Switch. Everyone hated it. Everyone wanted Arceus, which came out a few months later, and critically loved. The people love this game. I still haven't played it.
Okay, can we just agree that
we
at
can.
this point though, there's just too much Pokemon coming out.
Yes.
The fact that Sword and Shield, I haven't beat the DLC, I haven't beat the Dex or anything.
Same.
Diamond Pearl remakes, I haven't beat. Arceus came out, haven't beat it. I own them all.
Yep.
I haven't beat the last
You had beaten every other game up until that point, essentially.
Yeah. It's just very frustrating. It's like
it feels like a mixed bag too.
Yeah.
Like Sword and Shield, okay.
Yeah.
Diamond Pearl remakes, completely different. Arceus totally fucking left field.
Yeah.
This is one generation, but these games are all so different. It's almost hard to rank this for me. Like I can't really be honest with this ranking because I'm like,
so
I love Brilliant Diamond, but I'm like, yeah, it's just so different, and there's too much.
I'll be real with you, the Arceus. I think Arceus is a great game.
Yeah, honestly, I've warmed to it. I've seen people actually play it in like on the TV. I'm like, yeah, I will have to give this a try at some point.
And I think it stands as the third pillar of Pokemon.
Yeah.
The problem I'm having.
What are the other two pillars? The
remakes and mainline.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
The issue I'm having with this is Gen 9. Arceus as a free roaming Breath of the Wild adventure, RPG adventure. It's great. And I hope they build on that formula.
Yeah.
That's not mainline Pokemon. And that's the problem I'm having with Scarlet Violet, which I haven't actually beaten.
Yeah.
Is I'm really struggling, I think, mentally to be like, this is barely Pokemon.
Yeah.
This is Arceus, which is a great side game, maybe a new pillar of Pokemon, of a new side series. It's not even a spin-off. Like, it can be its own like mainline Pokemon thing, but it's not what we have known as Pokemon.
I hear you, because honestly, doing this, like this is like considered by the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, Nintendo, whatever, to be, a mainline entry.
Arceus.
In the that's why I've included it. All the research, like the Arceus is considered a mainline entry. Yeah. Which is weird to me because it's so different in every way. It's honest. It's like it feels like this. What? Wow. Why is this game considered core where all the other spin-offs are not? Like, I don't. Is it because it's a prequel to Diamond and Pearl?
I mean, I guess. I think it's because it's the beginning of a new line.
Yeah.
And that's why they're calling it.
And I think another thing that makes it a core entry.
Yeah.
There are new Pokemon.
Yes.
Forms and entirely new Pokemon.
Yes, which is the good ones. Ursaluna is sick.
Ursaluna is good. And I think that's the thing. The fact that if a game comes out and there's a new Pokemon in it,
it's like mainline. Yeah.
It's considered mainline.
I don't have a problem with Arceus. I really don't. And I think in Gen 8, having those three pillars there makes sense. It makes sense calling that a mainline game, which is why Gen 8 for me is pretty good.
Yeah.
Going into Gen 9 is where I'm a little concerned.
Okay. Yeah, I'm concerned too, and I'm excited to talk about it. So we've broke down all the generations now.
Yes.
You're welcome. So let's get into ranking.
Okay.
So I'd like to, so we'll do our personal rankings,
Okay.
and then we'll do combined rankings at the end. Okay.
Let's make sure this makes sense.
So we'll go back and forth. I'll do my 8th, and you can do your 8th. Okay. We'll go from 8th to 1st. Okay.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yes, I have to get rid of 9 because I had 9 there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't include because.
No, it's fine. We're going to talk about 9.
Yeah,
anyway,
we'll talk about 9, and also
it's not done.
Since it's generations, it's not done.
It's not done.
Exactly.
I want to say this. In the Dark Time, the lost episode,
Yeah.
I feel like there were some major gaps between these generations.
Yeah. So we've referenced this Dark Timeline episode. It was ranking Pokemon, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was different from this in that we weren't doing generations. We were doing like red, blue,
Yes.
gold, silver. We weren't even really thinking about yellow.
I would say even considering like the differences in our rankings,
Yeah.
I feel there's very little gaps between these. I would say
Yep.
the top couple, I would say after maybe the third one,
Yeah.
there's a bit of a gap, but I would say at the lower end, it's not that far. Like I like all these games
Yeah.
that we have talked about today. It's not like I dislike any of them.
Yeah.
I love these games, especially Dex's. This is an overall ranking.
Yeah.
There's a lot of aspects. Even my bottom one could be better than my top in some ways, right?
That's funny you say that because I actually have 2 notes here, basically stating 2 instances where it's so extremely close that like
Yeah,
it could be different on a different day.
exactly. Is this favorite or objectively what we think are the best?
To me, it's both. You know.
Okay. I may make a couple switches.
Yeah. No. Okay. I'll start with my Gen 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
8th place for me. If you've been listening to this episode, it's Gen 6. X and Y, Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby. I don't like the Pokemon designs. Didn't like the Mega Evolutions at the time. Don't like the region. Was disappointed that the 3D was mainly just a cosmetic thing. Everything's going against it. Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, like them even less.
Okay. Gen 6 is also my 8th.
Okay, good.
But I will say there's a lot. Pangoro is one of my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
I love
love
Greninja.
Sylveon. I really like Sylveon.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool Pokemon.
Second favorite Eevee evolution.
Yeah.
Behind Umbreon.
Some great designs. There's a lot to like.
Megas hold up more now in hindsight.
Yeah, there's a lot about X and Y I actually really love. There's a lot of Pokemon I love. And I actually don't think I think it's a good game and I would replay it. I probably will replay it at some point. I do really like the game. But yeah, overall, I think it's probably because it was the first like 3D-ish game that had a lot to build and work on. So it just felt like maybe it was lacking in certain areas. And that led to Sun and Moon. So it's like
it definitely did lead to Sun and Moon.
I would say for me, number 6, 7, 8, very, very, very close. They're very close for me. And I like them all.
Yeah.
So
all right. So 7th for me will be Gen 8.
Me too.
Yeah. 6th place. Again, I need to replay these.
I know.
Gen 5.
Yeah.
Is 6th place.
Right.
I want to get more into that after I revealed my 5th place because they're both very close for me.
Okay. So my 6th place was Gen 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. And I mean, again, from top
You're
to
so
bottom.
positive. Yeah. I will, like, from our conversation. Sorry.
Yes. I really like Gen 3.
We're very positive about pretty much all the games after this. I think.
Yes. I'm positive with all the games. I love all these games.
Yeah.
I do. It's just
hate Scarlet Violet. Just joking.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I haven't beaten it yet, so maybe by the time I go back to it, maybe it'll be completely different. But yeah, Gen 3. And it's not, honestly, it's because it's like the further you go up, you're like, these are like hallmark games in my life.
Yeah.
Of like all gaming. When you get to the higher levels, like this is a big, so it's like it's hard to.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So 5th place for me.
Yeah.
Gen 7. So my 5th and 6th place choices are extremely close. And the deciding factor was ultimately just the franchise burnout that I remember from Black and White.
Right.
That's it. It affected my experience at the time.
Right.
And the addition of Let's Go being part of Gen 7, a game I also really liked, is kind of the thing that I'm like, if I really break it down based off my memories, my experience, and just like trying to be as objective as possible, yeah, I think I gotta just slightly give it to Gen 5 or Gen 7 for fifth place. But I think if this is the thing, the caveat, if I replay Gen 5, I can almost guarantee you it'll be fifth place. It would probably replace Sun and Moon, maybe. But we'll have to wait and see the day that comes when Brandon finds me one.
See, this is where it gets kind of blasphemous, and this is because I actually switched.
Yeah, these two feel blasphemous to me as well. Like, even just the fact that Gen 5 is behind Gen 7 feels kind of gross to me. And that's why I had to make that note, being like, yo, just listen here, people.
And this is my thing for this next one, because this was fourth place to me, and I just switched it because I was like, is it favorite or objective? And based on favorites, I had to move things around a little bit.
Yeah.
Objectively, this is probably third.
Okay.
Or second.
Yeah.
But it's not on my favorites. And it's Gen 4.
Fifth place.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, because we're not really talking about like things like our group playing and stuff, which is obviously very incredible moment for us. But
it's also the thing that threw me for a loop with a lot of these was just me trying to consider all the games from the series.
yeah.
So when you say Gen 4, I'm also thinking about Heart Gold, Soul Silver,
100%.
and Diamond Pearl. So that's the thing that I'm like, oh shit, it's gonna be higher.
And and that's why, like, objectively, it could be one.
Yeah, I
like it could very well be one.
Yeah,
but it's like, for me, in playing these games, it's like, no, those are all good games, but there's something like Gen 4 Diamond Pearl isn't like my favorite region.
No. It's also not my favorite region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Johto, it's like, I love Johto and it's very cool, but it's, again, not my favorite region.
Your favorite's Kanto.
My favorite's Kanto.
Yeah.
But
I mean, my favorite's Kanto also.
yeah.
You know, I think
Anybody from
most people would say that.
It's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
It's the fact that we can't name most cities outside of Kanto or gym leaders for that matter.
But that's why I said I think 6, 7, 8, very close, and then there's a bit of a gap, and then 1 through 5 for me are very, very close. 4 objectively could be 1.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, it's very hard.
No, I appreciate that. That makes sense. Yeah, I said Gen 1 through 5 is, in my mind, that's classic Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Sun and Moon is like the bright spot of modern Pokemon.
Yeah.
And I think we're pretty in agreement to that.
So what's your 4?
Fourth? Gen 3.
Gen 3, nice.
Yeah, Gen 3. Again, I think when we did our Lost episode, that I think it was probably a little bit lower then. I can't exactly remember. But fucking Dark Lord fucking with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I put Gen 3, and it's just because the more hindsight I have, I like this game more and more. We've already talked about it. It just grows in my mind.
No, I agree.
I'm like, man, I'm nostalgic for fucking I think of like just the area where you get Regirock and the fucking sandstorm comes in, and you know, all that shit. The Reggies are so cool, man. Fucking like Metagross. I don't know. I just hate all the water routes. I could still do with less, but I don't know. I do kind of love. I can say I actually love Gen 3. I wouldn't have been able to say that even a few years ago. For some reason, I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, man, yeah, no, that's good shit. Also, Game Boy Advance love.
True.
Game Boy Advance is just such a small pocket of Nintendo's history, but like so good, man.
Dude, I would love
Golden Sun, Advance Wars. Anything on Game Boy Advance gets like boost for me.
Dude, they 100% should do if Nintendo's smart, they'll do like a Game Boy and Game Boy Color Pokemon Remaster with all those games.
Yeah.
Then Game Boy Advance with all those. And then DS with all, like, literally just
love that.
Resell the games as they are in collections for each system.
Do you think it would more likely just come to the Switch Online, though?
Not if they could sell it though in a box and make all that
Do
money.
both. Fucking do
dude,
both.
I would love to replay these games as like they originally came out.
Yeah.
That'd be incredible.
Well, that's the thing. Like on 3DS, they released the first 2 gens.
Yeah.
You know, red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal.
Even re-release them there. Yeah, put them on the Switch store. Like even then.
But yeah, but we never got the Game Boy Advance. Like we've never.
know.
And I would be all over that. The minute I can play this on like a Nintendo console,
Yeah.
I'm absolutely replaying it.
My 4th, Gen 5.
Gen 5. Okay, that makes sense.
And that's what I switched. I did actually have Gen 4 here. And
Yeah.
I switched 5 and 4.
You
Or
love 5.
4th and 5th.
I'd be
It's 'cause I love
surprised
it.
if 5 was below 4.
Yeah, it's just fresh. It was fresh. It was nice. I like the Pokemon. I like the region. I like the story.
Had everything you loved.
Yeah.
But enough to make it feel like a new experience.
Yeah, and I love Samurott. I love Sawsbuck. There's a bunch of Pokemon I like that little fire monkey, the Pokemon everyone hates.
Panpour.
I like him. I
Or
like.
Panpour might be the water one.
Yeah, Pansear. People hate it. He's like the worst people. He was rated last for Pokemon that they like. I love the little guy. So I like 5.
He's all right.
I really like 5.
He's a monkey. How can you hate a monkey?
I don't know. He got last place. I love the little dude.
That's sad.
I know. So we're getting the big guns now.
Yeah, we're in the top 3 here.
Yeah.
So my 3rd place,
Yeah.
Gen 2.
Gen 2.
Yep.
Cool.
So, gold, silver, crystal.
Yep.
That's it. Gold,
Yeah.
silver, crystal.
Classics.
Classics. Yeah.
That makes sense.
My critical hat would say better than red and blue.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But my nostalgic inner child can never say that.
Yes.
But yeah, no, they are better. They are better in every way. Probably the purest. I'd say Crystal might be like the purest Pokemon experience you could have. Like in terms of what I think of as classic Pokemon, with enough of like, you know, it just doesn't look like shit. Yeah, I think Crystal is probably like, it's a high benchmark for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
My 3rd, Gen 7.
Gen 7. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is cool. Our top 3, I think there's gonna be at least one surprise for me.
I love Gen 7, man. Sun and Moon, let's go.
Yep.
There's not much about 7 I don't like. It feels like a new era.
Yeah.
It feels like a high point of modern Pokemon.
I agree.
I love it, man.
I love it too. I often think of like going through it again. Yeah, no, that's cool, Alex. Yeah, that's cool. Actually, I'm excited for our collective list now because there are some interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how the points turns out.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Fuck, man. Yeah. Well, we've already talked about like why we like all these games in detail. So, number 2, I've already said earlier.
Yeah, we said
Generation 1.
Generation 1 for you. Yeah.
Is my second favorite, and again, nostalgia.
Yeah.
The reason I'm a
game.
gamer, the reason I'm doing a podcast right now is because of this game.
Yeah.
The feeling I had playing that, like when I first got it, was just so. It filled me with so much like joy and hope, and it just like it was like opening a new world to me. I didn't know video games. I didn't know RPGs. This is what an RPG was. I didn't know this adventure. You know, I'm an only child. Something about a single player game made sense to me. I feel like I've been playing a single player game my entire life.
Right.
You know? Yeah, no. Love, nostalgia. It's just, you know, it's beautiful.
My number 2, Gen 2.
Gen 2. Okay, good.
Do you know what I wish? Honestly, it's like Gen 2 obviously is probably the top of.
What we've been saying. It
2D.
is objectively probably the best.
Do you want to be sick?
What's that?
Pokemon MMO made by Nintendo in Gen 2 style. So you're just this little person walking
I would love
in a
that.
giant world with other little people walking around.
But fully functional.
Yeah.
And every Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, you'd have all the different regions. You could actually go between
You
them.
could go to Johto.
Because it's such low quality stuff that you could have all the regions.
People would fucking go crazy for that
Oh my
shit.
god, it'd be
You
so
could battle
cool.
people.
Yeah, you walk up, you click on them, you say, "Hey, you want to battle?"
If you just look at them, you have to battle. You just have to battle.
Everyone's battling 24/7.
Yeah, fuck
no,
it.
could you imagine though?
Everyone's just trying like not to fucking like avoid contact, which is what I do when I'm on the bus. Just avoid contact.
It'd be so
Eye
sick.
contact.
Yeah, Gen 2.
Okay.
What can you say? You know.
Yeah, it is the best. Like
So you're number 1.
Generation 4.
Generation
Alex.
4.
I thought about this. I wrote it down. I'm like, oh, it's Gen 1, obviously.
Yeah.
And I went through my whole list. I was like, No.
No, it makes sense.
I
It
think
makes sense,
I think since we're ranking generations, and
I get it.
my particular love of Diamond and Pearl is one thing, but it's really the Heart Gold, Soul Silver being a part of Gen 4 that it kind of leaves me being like, no, this is probably my favorite. It's the most I've definitely spent the most time playing.
Yeah, I actually feel
800
bad
plus
for
hours.
5 and 4. I may switch 5 and 4. Can I do that?
You can switch whatever you want.
I
Alex.
think I'm switching
You're a
5
free
and 4.
man.
I think I'm because what you said before though is right. It's because I may like Black and White better than Diamond Pearl or Heart and Gold remakes individually.
Yeah.
But combined,
Yeah, that's the thing.
I didn't play or Black and White 2.
Yeah.
So it's like that gen isn't. Yeah, no.
Yeah. No, okay, all right. It's just that, and like we've said multiple times, like Gen 2 is objectively probably the best Pokemon game.
Right.
The remake of Gen 2 is even better than that.
Yeah.
And that's part. So that's kind of what it is. I was kind of like, oh, it's not Generation 1 or 2. It's actually Generation 4 because I get Sinnoh
Yeah.
and Diamond Pro, which is a fantastic game.
Yep.
So important for the gameplay mechanics going forward.
100%.
The physical special split was so important. Loved everything about the gameplay. But then you add Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's like I got Johto. I also got Kanto.
Yeah, you're right.
So my three favorite generations in the best gameplay format
True.
is in this. So it's
That makes
for me
sense.
it's Gen 4.
And again, objectively, I think Gen 4 is probably number 1. And I'm not on
no.
realistically.
This is like halfway to me. All of these, just to be clear, I'm not being purely objective. I'm trying to. It's
Yes.
definitely a mix of both.
But objectively, I think Gen 4 is probably the best gen. For me, the top gen is Gen 1.
Gen 1.
I love Gen 1, man. It was a time, it was a place. It was
I'm
a
glad
thing.
you did it because I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
even though I
to.
wanted to. So I'm happy.
There's something now, like if you grew up on these games and you go back and you play those, some people say they're too simple, they're too whatever. It's like, no, there's something special about those games.
I like
There's
the
a magical
simplicity.
feeling.
I like the
Yes,
simplicity.
the simplicity is nice, and there's how slow you have to go. There's no run button. There's none of that stuff. It's like,
Yep.
it's just, it's an experience.
Yep.
And the music, the sprites, everything. It's lovely. I love Gen 1.
I love it too. I always will love it. It will always hold like a big place in my heart.
Yeah.
So we're gonna combine. I think we should combine rankings based on our personal rankings. So first place will get 8 points,
Okay. Yeah, and then go down.
and then down. Yeah. So eighth place will get 1 point. So then we will calculate that. Come back. Then I have this idea. We may then collectively move one generation up, one ranking, or one generation down, one ranking. So we can look at
Okay.
our final list, and then
Yeah.
collectively we have to be like, we can move one up and we can move one down together. We don't have to, but if we think for our list something is like off,
Right. We
you
can,
know?
if it looks wrong, we can fix it.
Yeah. Okay, folks. So we've compiled the data. We didn't need to make any real changes except we had a tie for second and third, so we decided to put one ahead of the other. But we'll take it again from eighth place. So eighth place with whopping 2 points. Generation 6. So this would be X and Y and Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
Not our favorite.
Oh.
Our least favorite. Seventh place, Generation 8. So yeah, this was Sword and Shield and Arceus. Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. Okay, so getting into the good shit now. Sixth place, Generation 5 with 7 points. Fifth place is Gen 3 with 8 points. So again, Gen 5 would be Black and White. Gen 3, Ruby Sapphire. Fourth place, Generation 7 with 10 points.
I like it.
We both really like Sword and Shield, so this makes sense. Now, I'm going to reveal first place first.
Oh.
So, to no surprise to anyone, Generation 1 came out on top.
Yeah.
15 points. So, first place, which I think is fine.
Yeah.
The nostalgic side of us would say number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
So we had a tie though for second and third place, 13 points. So Generation 2 and Generation 4.
Yeah.
And we decided that we would give second place to Generation 4 because, I mean, Generation 4 contains within it the remake of Generation 2.
Yeah, makes
So,
sense.
you know, and objectively, you know, it's probably better.
Yeah.
You know? So there it is, folks. First place, Gen 1. Second place, Gen 2. Third place, Generation 4. Fourth place, Gen 7.
Flip those ones.
What?
Gen 4's 2.
Oh, fuck. It's true, I did flip them. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to review. First place, Generation 1. Second place, Generation 4. Third place, Generation 2. Fourth place, Gen 7. Fifth place, Gen 3. Sixth place, Gen 5. Seventh place, Generation 8. And eighth place, Generation 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of numbers to be saying at the same time.
That's a lot of numbers.
Super confusing to me.
Yep. Good list, though.
Good
I
list.
actually don't want to move any of them. I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, I don't think... I think it actually works perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's great. Good
yeah.
list.
Good list. Okay, so that's the Ranking Generations episode.
Yeah.
We spent a lot longer than we intended.
Way longer.
I honestly feel like I should be surprised, but I mean, like, who are we kidding?
This is all. Yeah, we always do
Who
this.
are we kidding here? Okay, so the bonus round.
Okay.
We could just briefly talk about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Okay.
But really what I want to talk about is the general state of Game Freak
Yeah.
in the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
So where it's at today. Okay, so initial takeaways from Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Alex?
Stop trying to make it Zelda. Like, it's like, okay, don't, like, it's fine. You want to do what you did with Scarlet and Violet, that's cool, as the Arceus
Yeah.
line.
Yeah.
It's open world effectively, and it's non-linear, but it is linear. It's like, okay, don't open up the world to go wherever you want, and then don't add scaling.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't even make sense. So you
Doesn't.
can go to any gym you want, but you can't because you're 30 levels below the gym. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Just make it linear. Give us a story to follow. Make each town and region kind of like notable and eventful, like they used to, distinct. Not just wander around everywhere kind of aimlessly and then stumble upon something. Going like, do that with Arceus. That's fine. Do that with that new line. It doesn't always have to be in the past. You can do modern games like that. It's just this is not.
Yeah, well, like, even like, you know, open world games I love, like I always mention The Witcher 3. You can go almost anywhere.
Yeah.
But if you go to certain places, you're gonna get fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. But
Yeah.
don't act like you can just do anything.
I just even
You know?
in lore, I thought it was like if you go to a Pokemon gym, they're like, okay, like how strong are your Pokemon? Okay, well then I'll use this Pokemon against your Pokemon. Not so that I'm not super overpowered. Like Brock, even though he's the first gym leader, has like a level 60 something Pokemon.
Yeah.
He just doesn't use it against you because he knows you're a new trainer.
Is that true?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's based on the number of badges you have.
Oh, cool.
Is how the gym leader.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. So it's like if you're gonna like at least do it that way. They should scale based on your current gym badges.
Yeah. So weird. So yeah, I haven't actually played this game.
Well,
It's the first. So I say a few firsts with this series for me.
yeah.
It's the first game I didn't buy
On launch.
on launch day.
Oh, wow.
Essentially, at least since I could afford to do it myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I had everything on launch before that, but I would get my parents to buy it as close to as
Yeah,
possible,
yeah.
right?
Right.
As close as we can manage.
Yep.
But this is one as an adult with who could have bought it. I was just like, I'm good. I just don't know what this game's gonna be, and then it comes out, all the glitches, the technical problems.
Oh yeah.
From my point of view, it's like this game clearly wasn't. Like I'm waiting until the real release stage, which should have been probably this year, like this fall. You know, it seems like the game needed another at least 6 months, if not a year, to kind of flesh it out, because they've patched it to an acceptable level at this point. It's not crashing as much, like not as many crazy glitches and stuff, but fundamentally the game is what it is. They can't really change too much at this point.
No, it's
They
kinda-
should have given it more time, and kind of what we said earlier. These games are coming out too quickly.
Yeah, they are.
There's too. They're trying too many different things, and I just want, again, I want quality over quantity. If you're gonna do an open world Pokemon game, the first one ever, you certainly should not rush it out. You should take your time. Open world games are known for having being the most buggy, and at launch too. Like, think of, again, The Witcher 3, super buggy at launch, but fundamentally what was there was brilliant.
Right.
You know, they were able to iterate on that. But yeah, this game wasn't ready. It's the first game I didn't buy. Then I actually got it as a Christmas gift, and I still haven't played it. I'm just like, I'm thinking about it for this episode. I was like, oh, I should play like 2 hours just so I can give like my initial. But at a certain point, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I am kind of waiting. Like what I said, I'm kind of just waiting to the fall, like for a moment where there's no noise around this game. I can just play it. Maybe I'll have more of an objective opinion about it. But from what I can tell, it just seems undercooked, and
Yeah.
an open world Pokemon game should be exciting. It could be so good.
I'll say this: if we get another Arceus like game in Gen 9 after Scarlet and Violet, and then Gen 10 comes and it's another open world ish Pokemon like this,
It will be.
dude, that's really sad. That means Pokemon as we know it is done.
I feel that's kind of why I'm like, do I really want to play this game? I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is what I want anymore. I feel like, yeah.
I
Exactly
hope
what you're saying.
I hope Gen 10 is a return to form, to classic Pokemon style, and I hope we continue to get open world games as a side thing with Arceus line.
Do you think we will, though? I think this is what they're doing.
I do too, and I don't think it's the right call. I think Breath of the Wild really changed, I think, the way they internally look at game development.
Yeah.
And I think with Tears of the Kingdom, the Zelda team itself recognized, hey, Breath of the Wild was the right step for Zelda, but we also have to integrate all these aspects of older Zelda games. We need a more connected
dungeons.
story.
We need dungeons.
We need full dungeons.
Yep.
We need these classic elements of Zelda back. So it's like,
Yeah, and then Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and it's like just
best
as
game,
loved
yeah.
just as much as
Yes.
Breath of the Wild. Probably even more. Like,
Exactly.
Give it a few years.
and so it's like, I hope the Pokemon Company didn't just take Breath of the Wild and aren't paying attention to this, because this is a clear sign that, like, you can't just take a giant leap. You got to go back to what people expect of the series, right?
But also I think this highlights another major problem with Game Freak and the Pokemon Company.
Yeah.
They are too big to fail at this point.
Yeah.
They don't really need to put out a quality product, clearly. At a certain point, that will affect them, their sales. But until that point, I don't think there's any reason for them, from a fiscal point, to like change things. And that is the most heartbreaking thing to me, because it's like, yeah, these games sell better than they ever have. I feel a lot of people probably really love Scarlet and Violet, and like people who have been hardcore as us with the series from the beginning, they probably don't. Of course, they wouldn't feel as strongly about this. And I think that's kind of the problem. It's like, yeah, it's so big, it's so popular, which is great for so many reasons. But it's also like, yeah, it's like, do they don't need to change it for that reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, this just sucks.
They've been making very drastic decisions between, getting rid of Ash on the cartoon.
Yeah.
They're changing their borders on the Pokemon cards.
I like those.
But it's just like,
The silver borders are great.
They're doing all these different things, and it's like, okay, this feels like a new era for Pokemon, and it's like, it's kind of scary that it just may not be our era anymore, is what it feels like.
Yeah, I don't think it has been, honestly, since X and Y, really.
Yeah.
And Sun and Moon was like the Renaissance again, 20th anniversary. But I will say I haven't played Scarlet and Violet, but I have opened 6 Scarlet and Violet booster packs, and I got some great pulls.
Nice. What start are you going to pick, though?
The grass
I thought
cat.
so, the kitty.
Yeah. I really like
Sprigatito.
Sprigatito. I like everything about that.
Yeah, Lily loves
there's a lot of
Sprigatito.
things I like. A lot of the designs. A lot of things I like.
Who do you think I picked?
You picked Skeledirge.
Yeah, big Fukuoko.
Yeah,
I love
Fukuoko,
that
yeah.
little guy. He's a cutie.
Yeah, there's a lot of like the designs from what I can tell, they're nothing overly offensive to me.
No.
Not as good as the last two, I would say necessarily.
There's some good designs. I will say there are some cool designs looking through.
Yeah,
But
I'm still not sold on the legendaries themselves.
they're okay. They're all right. They're all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did get Scarlet. I was gifted Scarlet, which is the one I wanted. I don't really like that futuristic shit. And this is kind of my thing with Pokemon. This is like I'm the like seemingly the one person in the entire fucking planet who loves Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And that's kind of a me thing because like my favorite series is Dragon Quest.
Right.
Again, I say favorite series, Pokemon, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, all very close.
I get it. Yeah.
I love traditional. All my favorite Pokemon games are the traditional ones. I like the Diamond Pearl remake because it's just so traditional.
Right.
I'm always gonna like something. If they make Final Fantasy 17 and it's literally like a fucking 16-bit RPG, I'll probably think it's perfect.
Amazing. Yeah.
You know.
Agreed, yeah.
So that's kind of a me thing, and that's why I think maybe this is just you know, people grow up, game series grow up and change, and you know. We've had many good years. I play Pokemon Go every day. I love it. Pokemon Go has kind of like become to me kind of like the de facto generation of Pokemon now for me. I'm just like it gives me everything I want.
Wow.
It gives me everything I want and none of the shit I
fucking
don't
wish
like.
I felt that way about Pokemon Go.
I know you do. And it's been a slow crawl for me being like I was completely opposed being such a traditionalist.
Yeah.
Completely opposed to Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, actually, this is the closest thing we have nowadays to pure Pokemon to me, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But hey, that's where we're at. But I just don't know what's Game Freak gonna do. What are they gonna do?
Inevitably, they'll go back. It's just you see it time and time again. People make Final Fantasy is the biggest example of this. You know, we started. When did it start? Really, 10 is when it started to detract and get more open world ish.
Yep.
Then 12 took it a step further. 13 kind of took a couple steps back.
Also 11, 14, the MMOs.
Yep. And then 15 went full open world kind of for the first part. And then, you know, I think with Remake, we kind of had them be like, okay,
Remake was the moment.
We need to kind of keep in touch with the old style. Like we want this new world, this new way of storytelling, this 3D, but we're action, but we're keeping kind of a turn-based feel to it.
It's kind of like, it's okay to be like, this is what Final Fantasy is.
Yeah.
This is what Pokemon is. This is what Metal Gear is supposed to be.
Exactly.
It's like totally weird reference, but like sports teams. At the heart of the club, there's something about that team. There's an identity that they have.
Yeah.
And fans want you to stick to that identity.
Yes.
That's what you're proud of.
Yes.
And so to relate that to video game series, it's the same thing.
Yep.
It's like this is the core identity of this series. Sure, adapt and change and evolve, but don't move so far away that it's like it's unrecognizable.
Exactly.
You know?
Does Scarlet and Violet, or is it Arceus that has the weird thing with the moves where you can do power moves?
I don't know. I haven't played Scarlet Violet yet.
I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
But one of them you can do this weird thing with the move to make it like faster.
Okay.
I don't like it though.
Yeah.
If it's Arceus, then who cares? But if that's Scarlet and Violet, is that Scarlet and Violet?
Alex, I have no
hope
fuck.
not.
I have minus clue.
Know.
Minus clue. Yeah, and I did read recently that I think there's a new president or something stepped up. I don't fucking know what I'm talking about. I don't really see why they need to change, but eventually, well, like you're saying, cycles, everything's a cycle. Eventually they will go back, and if the sales dip, and I think they surely must be listening to the the negative feedback with all the bugs and stuff. I think they have to know that it's not acceptable.
But who knows? Maybe they'll do what Square Enix does, and they'll release like Triangle Strategy and Octopath and all these like games that are kind of mimicking the older style of RPGs. So they'll be like side games that kind of scratch that itch, which is fine too, I suppose.
If they do a remake of Black and White,
that's what I mean,
with the same template as the Diamond and Pearl remakes, for me, I'm gonna love that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm gonna be the only one.
Yeah, you
and
may
that's
be.
and that's kind of the thing too. It's like this is why it's so frustrating to me because it's like it's just and that's why I think it's just like it's just this is me. I'll just play Pokemon Go and I'll still buy every multiple set packs from every set that comes out and I'll get to experience and I'm going to play Scarlet at some point. I'm probably gonna not hate it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll love it. Maybe it'll be my number one rank. Maybe we'll come back in a year. Alex, I have something to tell you. Gen 9 is the best Pokemon game.
The fact that, in Scarlet and Violet, my biggest hiccup with it, Jeremy.
Yeah.
You start off, you're open, you can go wherever, but you can't because your Pokemon are only a certain level. But the places you're supposed to go are all over the place back and forth.
Yeah.
So you're just looking on a map online to see where you should go based on your level, and it's all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And then you have to backtrack to go back to the place. I'm like, you just made it like unenjoyable. You made what Pokemon should just be of just walking the correct path to all over the goddamn place. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Really?
Sometimes you can take a different route to fucking Saffron City. But generally speaking, you're going the same. Yeah. No, I get it.
It's very frustrating. And I'm just like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play an MMO that's like run around in a world like an MMO, but not be an MMO. It's supposed to be a single player game. Just let me play the fucking game.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I get
That's
it.
actually, I remember now that's why I got turned off because I was like, I don't want to run around, look at the map, try and figure out where the hell I am, trying to figure out where the next fort or like team fort or gym or whatever the hell it is.
I don't even know.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we know. We're getting old. We're just getting old, I guess. Fuck, man.
There's just too many games to play. That's the thing, man. Too many games.
There's
Go home,
there's
play Diablo.
Yeah, like I'm gonna play this open world game over fucking Cyberpunk, Horizon, fucking The Witcher 3 PS5 version, Horizon 2, fucking Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man's coming out. The list just goes on. Like, you really want me to play this over all these other amazing open world experiences that I have not had the time to get to already?
Just between like May and June. You got Tears of the Kingdom, Final Fantasy 16, Diablo 2, Street Fighter. Who has time
Diablo
for
2.
all Diablo 4, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Diablo 4. Who has time for all those games? No one. No one has time. I'm off right now. I don't have that much time.
No.
I don't know, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
No, it's crazy. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, Scarlet and Violet, poor game design. poor world design.
Yeah.
You know? The Pokemon are great. The Pokemon have always been great. The battle system fundamentally has always been great.
Yeah.
All of those things have always been great. But the design of this game just seems like totally dim-witted.
But people like open world, man. As soon as something's open world, people
love it.
Love that crap. And I'm like, I don't get it.
And every entry is essentially has gone on to be basically the best-selling Pokemon game. So that's my worry. It's just too big to fail. Yep.
Well, we'll see.
You know what? It's not too big to fail. Us.
JoyCircuit.
JoyCircuit. Definitely not too big to fail.
Definitely not.
Yeah, because we set out to do 1 hour podcast and we talked for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And then this guy has to go back and listen to it again fucking multiple times. And it's lovely.
Great.
I do enjoy it though. I truly do. Alex, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been great.
Good Pokemon episode. Always good talking to you about a topic that we love.
Yep.
Very near to our hearts. Again, check out the Red and Blue episode we did. I think it's actually a very fun episode. Audio only though, so sorry. Fucking dark timeline shenanigans once again. That era is over.